And in Joshua 1 and 3, the have and the have-nots, the one that made it to the land, God gave him a promise. He said, every place that the sole of your what? Will tread upon, I will give. He said, I have given to you, just as I promised Moses. You may be seated. He said, every place that the sole of your foot placed, you got to get out of bed for your foot to tread on this land that God is talking to. You cannot be watching the have and the have-nots. You cannot be at home watching scandal. You have to get out the bed and tread this. And so today I want to talk to you about step into your greatness. Step into your greatness. When you step into your greatness, God has called you to do some great things. He has a promise to you. He said, the land I have given to you. I'm going to talk to some of you today. God said, go out there and get that degree and better your life. That degree that I have given to you. But you're saying, God, I don't have student loan money. I don't have this. I don't have that. God is telling you, do you remember the time when I woke you up every morning? Do you remember the time when you didn't have a way and I made a way? Do you remember when you thought it was over and God brought you into abundance in your life? How many people remember how God had just brought you through and you didn't see a way? He's charging them with unbelief, and he's going to charge you with the same. If you are sitting there and you're not stepping into the promise that God has for you, he's going to judge you. The 10 and the whole generation. These are tribe leaders. These guys have sway. They went to the tribe and spread that noise. They messed up Moses and Aaron. They couldn't even make it to the promised land. They're sitting around here saying, we look like grasshoppers. There's nothing you can do for somebody that don't believe in themselves. You want to waste your time? Try to help somebody that don't want to help themselves. We look like grasshoppers. And Caleb said, quiet, silence. No. We can do this with the help of the Lord. Man, Caleb and Joshua was ready for the land of milk and honey, Canaan, the land of abundance, the land of you don't have no lack there, the land that has overflow when your cup runneth over. And see, that's how you do in life. Some people be wondering sometimes, how can I help somebody else? Let your cup runneth over first, then you can help somebody else. That's right. So many times we end up in a bad situation because we're trying to do all this and that, and our cup ain't even filled up. It is okay for you. I'm just going to help somebody today because somebody came in this morning about some things in their life, and every time they try to help somebody, they end up the short end of the stick. Anybody out there like that? Yeah. You'll hurt yourself trying to help somebody else, not trying to help themselves. That's right. And he asked me, what should I do about this family member, and they want this and that? And I'm like, you sitting here in lack. You can't help them right now. That's not being selfish, that's being self-full. The Bible says when your cup runneth over, when it runs over, when you're in the promised land, you can help others, but until then, there's an old Chinese proverb. Somebody out there facing that right there today. This is an old Chinese proverb. This can help you out when people give you the guilt trip. You know when they get mad with you when you don't help them out? Because you don't want them mad with you, but you go ahead and help them out anyway? This is the proverb right here you need to use right here. This is what it says. If I loan you some money and you don't pay me back, right? No, he said, if I don't loan you some money, you won't get mad at me. But if I do loan you some money and you don't pay me back, I'm going to be mad at myself. It's better for you to be mad than me be mad. So somebody going to be mad anyway, right? So it's better for you to be mad than me to be mad. But you got to stick to your greatness. And look at that. They're saying, we look like grasshoppers. Look, the land in milk and honey is not built for people who look at themselves like grasshoppers. That's right. Milk and honey is not for grasshoppers. In fact, they'll drown in the milk and get stuck in the honey. That's right. I made that up. It sounded deep when I wrote it last night. It sounded kind of deep. So I just had, you ever had some of your notes, you go throw it out there anyway? Did it work? Did it make any sense? Okay, let's roll with it. Let's keep rolling with it. But God has called each and one of us to be leaders. When the game is on the line, the leader takes the shot. When God tells you to step out, you step out. You don't ask any questions. I can remember the game of basketball. I can remember back in the day when the game was on the line, Michael Jordan do everything he can to get open. Last few seconds of the game. LeBron James, try not to get open. I'm just messing with you. But what I'm saying is God has put some greatness in each and every one of us. He wants to step into it. No matter what the odds look. They came back and said, look, these guys got big walls. These guys have locks on the gates. These guys have all these things. They're counting all their circumstances that stack against them, and they're not looking at how big their God is. I'm telling you, I don't know what you're facing today, but it may look impossible. We got a God who makes the impossible possible. He wants to know, do you believe? When you step into your grace, the first thing you got to do, you got to take action. Look at this right here. When you left Numbers and you go into Joshua, these guys are about action. I don't know if you've seen the movie Action Jackson, but this is what Joshua is right here. Look at Joshua 3 and 14. It says, so it was. He told me, he said, Joshua, my servant Moses is dead. You go up and go across this Jordan. That's what he did. And he said, everywhere your feet touch, I will give you. Look at Joshua 3. It says, so it was when the people set out from their camp. He's the leader of the people now. Moses is dead. To cross over the Jordan, the feet of the priests, right, who bore, right, the ark dipped, in the edge of the water. This is what happened. As soon as they dipped in, the water which came down from upstream stood what? And rose up. It stacked up far away. And look at this is the good part right here. And the Bible says that they walked across on dry ground. Now that's good news right there. It says right here, then the priest, look at it right here. It says, then the priest who bore the ark of the covenant of the land of the Lord stood firm on the dry ground in the midst of the Jordan, and all Israel crossed over. What kind of ground? Until all the people have crossed completely over the Jordan. Now that's good news right there. They didn't get bogged down in no mud. The animals didn't get bogged down. When God tells you to do something, you have to do it. You cannot question it. You must do it. This is the key right here. Nothing happened until they took that first step. The Jordan did not rise up until they took that step. I'm going to put it in layman terms. In your life, a lot of time you waiting on God and he waiting on you. And nothing is going to happen until you take that first step. Sometimes, God's like, when you move, I move. And it's just like that. Just like that. When are you going to move? When are you going to stop counting everything against you? God is saying move. But there's so many of us that have this fear of rejection, this fear of failure. What if it don't work out? Well, my question is, what if it do work out? That was a guy I saw this weekend. His name is Chow Lane, and he's going around speaking right now, and he's doing extremely well. This is what he's speaking on. Alvin, when he was 6 years old, the teacher told him that he'll never be anything in life. But when he was 14 years old, Bill Gates flew over to China, and they was doing the Microsoft Word, and he had dreamed at that point in time that he's going to grow up, and he's going to own a computer business, and he's going to buy Microsoft, and he's going to conquer the world. Big dreams at 14, dreams shot down at 6. So by the age of 30, he moves to the United States, but he never stepped out and owned his own business because he's always been defeated by the 6-year-old telling the 14-year-old that you still can't do it. Sometimes we think it's in the past, but we're not free from our past. And sometimes we have to free that 6-year-old who's telling us we can't do it and believe the 14-year-old who got inspired by saying something positive. So he read this book about rejection therapy. And it was about 30 days of going out and doing things that may reject you. So he went on a crusade, started filming himself. He went on a 100-day rejection crusade. And he went out and asked people something so crazy trying to get rejected. This was the key right here. He was trying to get desensitized for rejection. I'm going to say it again. Sometimes you tell yourself that it's not going to work out, you ain't even tried. You done quit before you know anybody done quit before they even got started? So the first day he went out there, he just asked random strangers. He had one guy, he said, man, he saw a security guard, can I borrow $100? The guy said, why? He said, I know you weren't going to loan it to me, just ran home. He went home, watched the tape. The guy asked him why, and he just done ran and said no. A whole lot of us, like, are y'all hiring? Well, I'm not sure. I knew y'all wasn't hiring. You ain't let him finish. You done quit before he got started. And he said, when people ask you why, that's something. And then he went to a donut place. He said, you know what? I want my donuts made in the Olympics circle. I want all different colors. And the lady said, what? And she said, okay, how can I do that? And she actually did it. They had it on film. He went to somebody's yard one time. He walked in, he had some flowers. He asked the guy, can I plant these flowers in your backyard? The guy was like, well, no. And he asked him why. He said, well, I got a dog that's going to dig it up. And I don't want your flowers to be wasted. But go ask Miss Connie across the street. She'll let you. And he went and planted flowers. I'm just telling you, you got to be bold and desensitize yourself to being rejected. You never know when somebody going to say yes. You never know when God going to put that angel in your life. That's why I believe you should show up and show out. You just never know what's going to work out. Take action, but nothing never happened without them making that first step. But until you make that first step, you got to get rid of that negative belief. Hebrews 11:6 says, and without faith is what? Impossible to please God. What are you facing in your life today? I'm telling you to step in your greatness. I'm telling you, I don't know what it looked like and how it looked. Sometimes you need to stop asking yourself how it's going to happen. When God gives you the why and give you instructions, you must step out into it until you embrace it. But until you get rid of the negative thoughts. Deacon Cooper, I was in Denver the other day, coming from the mountains. We come to the city of Denver. My wife said, I feel something. And I'm like, what you feel? She said, I feel like the Lord is talking to me. She said, take this exit. There's a mall. There's a sale over there. The Lord working mysterious ways. So we're driving through there. But on one of the stores, there was a sign. It says sale. And it says everything must go. Everything that's unprofitable must go. Getting ready for a new season. Now, and my wife looked at me, she said, why you keep staring at that sign? You trying to come up with a sermon. I'm like, yeah. But look at this right here. Sometime in our physical life, sometimes, some things don't fit our new season. See, in Denver, it's already cool. Summertime is over. The little two-piece swimsuit ain't working no more. They getting ready for the back-to-school sale. And in your life today, you got to make your mind up. If I'm going to make that step and I'm going to ride with the 2, with the positive report, I can't be hanging with the 10. And anybody got that negative mindset, you need to have a sale and say everything must go. Everything must go in this new season. And look what it said at the very end. It said it must go. We're getting ready for new inventory. Sometimes you don't have room for the new because you keep holding on to the old. Denise and Sal said it best. Sometimes you need to drop that 0 and get you a hero. Person walking around in doubt, that's that 0. Person that keeping up mess, that's a 0. Person who walking around and telling you that you can't, that is a 0. Drop that 0 and get with your hero. God is your hero. He said you can do all things through Christ. You got to ask yourself, where am I in my life? What is he telling me to step into and why I'm not? And you know what? It is a sin if I'm not, because he's going to judge me. Who wants to walk around the wilderness for the next 40 years? You leave this place and you wondering why things are not working out. I was watching television the other day. They was talking about a shark, and a lot of time I take my kids to the aquarium at New Orleans, and they love all the fish, but they love to see the shark, the big attraction. But I've been in certain guys' offices and CEOs, and they love to have the aquarium inside their office, Alvin. And they have a shark in there, but they told me this right here, that a shark, if it's in a house aquarium, would not grow no more than 8 inches. The shark would not outgrow its environment. You know your environment is important, but if the shark is in the ocean, it'll grow up to 8 feet. I'm telling you, what are the people doing around you? Who are your 5 closest friends? If you show me your 5 closest friends, I can show you your future. Your environment matters. And you got to ask myself, am I going to be around people who are going to step into greatness, that's going to believe God, or am I going to hang around with this 10? The 10 said we're like grasshoppers, and them and all their generation died out in the wilderness except for Caleb and Joshua. And look at them poor kids out there walking around for 40 years too. They had nothing to do with it. I'm going to say it again. There's some people in here going through some things right now, not because something you did, because somebody else. And you're wondering why I'm going through this. Well, God has a word for you too. Because what he was doing for the children while they was walking around the wilderness, which they didn't have anything to do with that, he was building them up, making them strong. He was making them able to endure. He was building endurance in them. And a lot of time in life, until you go through something, you can't handle something good. And so I don't know where you are right now. Don't get down on yourself. Just ask yourself, where am right now? Locate where you are and say, I'm going to step into his greatness. I'm going to be like the mighty two who believe. When you leave here today, you have no choice but to take action. Who wants to be judged by God for not taking the action that he told you to take? So number one, take action. And number two, embrace the presence of God. God has already let you know in Joshua 1:5. He said, there shall not be any what? Be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life. As I was with Moses, so I'll be what? I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. God is with you. I don't know who you are today, but I listened to Mr. Art Williams yesterday. He had a little a speech. Check it out on YouTube. He said, just do it. He said that he owned an insurance company in Georgia, one of the largest insurance guys in the world. And he said, just do it. He said when he hired people, he don't hire the smartest. He hired people who get stuff done. He said he really don't hire too many smart people because smart people don't get nothing done because they sit there and analyze it all the time. He said he don't want the kid out there that's sticking his toe in the pool. He said you got to commit. You got to jump on in. What are you facing today? I'm just coming to tell you today the word is saying just do it. If God has told you to do it, I'm telling you he's going to make a way. But you got to make that first step. And while you waiting on him, he's waiting on you today. And he's telling you, hey, step into your greatness today, not tomorrow. Step into your greatness today because God has something big for you. And remember, you step in your greatness, the first thing you must do, you must take action. You cannot tread your feet on solid ground sitting in the bed. And you must embrace God. Knowing that, no, it is impossible for me, but all things with Christ is possible. So it doesn't matter what's stacked against. Anybody encouraged today that God got you? Anybody encouraged that God got you? He got you. But you got to fight for your kingdom. Yesterday I took my kids to see The Lion King, and my 16-year-old, like, I don't want to see this no more. But I got a 3-year-old who just won't. We were eating lunch yesterday at McAllister's, and it was time to pray, and she had her macaroni and cheese. She didn't want to pray. She just grabbed her fork and started eating. I said, London, you got to pray. I put my hands together, and I began to pray. And Deacon Cooper, she grabbed my hand and said, Daddy, let's stop praying. Let's eat. I knew she wasn't going to sleep, so I said, let me take you to the movies, keep you running. I done ran outside, took you to the jump paddock, but you ain't ready. So we went there to see the movie. But I noticed something in the movie that I didn't notice before. You got the man, his father is dead. And while his father is dead, Simba, instead of fighting for his kingdom, he out there running around in the wilderness. Daddy is dead. Moses is gone. He's running around, hanging out with Puma and Timon, singing Hakuna Matata, whatever it is. No words. And his dad came back to him in a dream and said, I might have mispronounced the word, y'all roll with it. But his daddy came back in the dream and said, look, you are the king. It's your kingship. It's not Scar Kingdom. You need to get out of here and stop singing with Puma and Timon. And some of us right here hanging around with Puma and Timon. And we need to be going out there fighting for our kingdom that God has for us. And when you fight for your kingdom and do what God has for you, God going to bring victory into your life. When you do what God tells you to do, God going to uphold what he told you he's going to do and bring you to the top. When you do what Christ tells you to do, you're going to always end up in the right place. And when you do that, can't nobody say anything but like, look at you and say, man, it must be a God thing. There's somebody looking at you right now who done some wonderful things in your life. They wonder, how did she do that? Don't worry about that. It ain't nothing but a God thing. See, we don't have to be out there doing nothing illegal, doing something crazy. Some people can't understand why you so blessed. That's the 10. Do not try to convince the 10. You cannot convince the 10. I'm talking to somebody. Don't ever try to convince your enemies. Because your enemies don't like you anyway. And your friends don't care. Why you keep explaining yourself? Do God's will. So as you leave here today, I just want to ask you, are you willing to take the step that God has for you? Are you willing to take that shot? Because when I play basketball, if you shoot 53 free throws, how many free throws you gonna make? I don't know. Some, 30. But if you don't shoot nothing, you ain't gonna make nothing. Nothing from nothing equals. I'm asking you today, take your shot. It don't look like you'll make it, take a shot at it. God got you. If it don't look good, but God told you to do it, just do it. If it don't look good, look impossible, God does the impossible. God want to know today, are you going to remember the time? Are you going to step into your greatness? And if you do that, you're going to fulfill the promise that God has for you. Anybody ready to step in their greatness today? Anybody ready to move forward?
We hope you enjoyed the message today. It is now time for Tithes and Offering. There are 3 ways to give. You can use our CashApp at the bottom of the screen. You can also text, and it's at the bottom of the screen. Or if you would like, we have a Dropbox here at the church where you can drop off your giving. Now, if something was said today that moved you and you want to give your life to Christ, we would like for you to call us at 601-408-7156. We want to talk to you about your decision today.